What up people, Revan the Legend here and welcome to 80's Mania Wrestling Returns tips and tricks. Now in this video today we're going to be looking more so towards the newer players, but that's not to say if you're a veteran you might not pick up a few things here and there. So let's get to some tips for the newer players. Now first off, I would just like to preface this by saying the beauty about this game is that there is no right way and no wrong way to play the game. You can do whatever you want. If you want to play for statistics, do that. If you want to play for your own personal joy, do that. If you want to try and recreate something you've seen in real life, you can do that as well. No matter what you do, you're doing it right. This game, there is no right and wrong. Play it how you want to play it, enjoy it, and that is tip number one for me. Now everyone who starts this game will always start with the same roster. Now there's a few things on the cards that you need to look out for and I'm going to talk you through them now. Now to be a good booker you need a long-term planning. So one of the first things you're going to need to do is check the active years that all your wrestlers are competing for. So if we look on the back of the card, you're going to see down here on the bottom, it's going to say active years. Now the game runs for a 20-year period in game, 1980 to 1999. So this here will tell you how many years your card is active for. So how you can see, Arizona Chance is active for the whole 20-year run. So you can keep that in mind when you're making long-term booking plans, things like that. It's also important if you're making tag teams, you obviously want to make sure that both tag team partners are going to be active if you're booking forward. So Arizona Chance is fine. Now let's have a look at someone like Dr. B. Dr. B on the other hand, only active until 1990. So he doesn't get the full 20-year spread, he only gets the 10 years. So things like this you do need to keep in mind when you are booking. And it doesn't always go up in dominations of 10. As you can see here, 1980 to 1989, there are a few cards which they last until 84. You'll get some cards that last to 87. So you do need to keep an eye on it. They're not all going to be the same. Right down here, active years, keep an eye and make sure it fits in with your long-term booking plans. Now while we're here on Johnny Cobra, we are going to use him as an example as I explain to you the statistics that you can see on every single card. So we'll start off with the skill rating. Now skill reflects how they are going to perform in a match. You want a 5-star match? Your boys better have some good skill. The mic rating, unsurprisingly, will influence how well they perform in your mic spots. Your pop rating, similar to the mic, will show how they're going to perform in a skit. So this is not on the microphone, this is your skits. And your push rating is very important when it comes to winning matches. The higher the push, the more chance they're going to win the match. So now that we've got the basics down, you've started booking your shows, you've put a couple weeks out there, that's fantastic. But a couple things you need to make sure you're doing to optimize your chances of improving your roster. Number one, after every show, make sure you come down to the claim bonus icon right here. After you've done a show, you're going to get television money. And you need to claim the bonus to get that money, otherwise you're going to lose it. Now what will happen with a lot of players is that you're going to get halfway through the year and you're going to start thinking to yourself, wow, I could have booked this better. Now that I've got these new cards that I've purchased in the shop, maybe I could have had more fun. One thing I would say and I would stress to you, whenever you start a year, make sure you finish it because at the end of the year, you are going to receive a token and the token are the best forms of currency in the game. You can use them to get new cards, you can use them to level up skills, there's so many things you can do. So if you get to, let's say you're on June, you're on August, but you feel like resetting, I personally would suggest that you push through, get to the end of the year and get your token because your tokens are a big part of the game. So now once you've completed the year, but you want to start fresh, what you need to do is you need to click on the menu button up here, and then you need to hold down on the button new. You hold down on it, so that way if you are actually in a game and you don't want to lose it, it gives you the opportunity to realize what you're doing and stop. If you're not trying to do a new game, it will give you the opportunity to calm down. But if you want to, click and hold onto the new button, and then it will open up the game fresh, and then you get to start, and you keep everything that you've earned up to that point. You keep your cards, you keep your statistic bonuses, you keep your tokens, you keep your in-game cash. That is the important thing to remember. A lot of people think, will I lose this if I start a new game? The only thing that you will lose is your wrestler history. So obviously if you've had a guy who's won 30 matches in a row, that will start from scratch because the federation has been restarted. So all results go back to 0-0, but your actual cards, your statistics, your money stays the same as it is. You will not lose your card, you will not lose your money, you will not lose your tokens. And finally, if you do decide to start a new game, you can start from a number of different points. You can start from 1980, 1985, 1990. So if you decided you would rather try jumping in midway through into the 90s with a different feel of roster, you can choose to do so. And finally, I would just remind you guys that you can now assign your champions from the start for a small cost. And if you've saved up a bit of money and you want to do so, you can. So you can take out Dr. B as your world's champion and bring someone else in as a starting champ. Completely up to you. There will be a small cost. It's not too much. It's probably worth it if you want to give it a go. So remember that when you start a new game. And that is it, people, for new player advice. That is all it is. Like I said, I cannot stress this enough. There is no right way, there is no wrong way to play the game. You do what you want to do, how you want to do it. That is the beauty of the game. You can do whatever you like. That's what makes it so great. So I hope you have found this video informative. Good luck, and I'll see you again.